The movie begins with a few high school friends sitting around a campfire talking about a serial killer urban legend that has been spreading around their town recently. The serial killer's name is said to be the Butcher. One of the guys goes inside to get a refill for his drink, and when he goes into the cellar, the Butcher shows up behind him and shoves a wine bottle down his throat, killing him. The Butcher then goes and kills another girl in the bathroom, and then takes care of the couple that was outside boning in the garage. The Butcher is a master of his craft and took out the four of them in a matter of minutes with ease. Next we meet high school senior, Millie. She is about as innocent as they come. She is picked up that morning by her two best friends, Nyla and Josh, to head to school. As they are walking, we find out that Millie's dad passed away a year ago, and she doesn't do anything fun because she is always hanging around her mom because she feels bad for her being lonely all the time and not living her life. Millie heads into her first class, and she sits by her crush, Booker Strode. And as she gets settled in her seat, everyone in the classroom gets a notification about the four students that were brutally murdered the night before. That Friday, homecoming night comes, and at the football game, Millie is the mascot, and she gets made fun of by a bunch of bullies. After the game, her friends have all left, and she is still waiting at the bench for her mom to come pick her up all alone. Her mom forgot to pick her up because she got wasted and fell asleep on the couch. Millie's phone then dies, and she is unable to call anyone for help, and in the distance, she sees a strange man walking towards her who turns out to be the Butcher. The Butcher chases her around the school and onto the football field where he is about to stab her. Then, all of a sudden, the knife he is holding starts glowing and lightning starts striking everywhere, and he is unable to kill her. Millie's sister cop, Charlene, shows up, and the Butcher runs off into the woods so he doesn't get caught. The camera then pans to the knife that he tried using to kill her. It must be magical or something. Millie is looking all different though, and we can tell that something isn't all the way right with her, and the knife found at the crime scene is now in police evidence. At midnight that night when she is sleeping, the swap takes place between Millie and the Butcher. The Butcher wakes up in Millie's body, and he is completely confused how this could be happening, and when he looks in a mirror, he can't believe he is in a teenage girl's body. I will still refer to this version of Millie as the Butcher, as it would be less confusing that way. Millie then wakes up in his body in a disgusting homeless housing unit and thinks she is dreaming, and there's no way none of this can really be happening. We then jump around town that morning, and we can see on the TV screen sketches of the Butcher that the police are looking for, and if anyone sees this man, to contact them immediately. Millie is in a wanted man's body, and she's about to catch a ton of heat. She starts walking around town, and everyone is scared of her and screams when she walks up to them, so she runs off into the woods once again. Meanwhile, the Butcher arrives to school in his new body, and he is completely ignoring Millie's best friends, and people think she looks cuter than normal, and all the guys are staring at her walking through the halls. One of the girls at school starts walking with the Butcher and asks who she thinks is Millie, what the actual Butcher was like, and how scared she was when she encountered him the night before. Annoyed, the Butcher then ends up convincing her to go into a freezer and hide because she saw the Butcher's real body in the shower, and then he turns the temperature all the way down and locks the poor girl in the freezer to freeze to death. Millie is at the school in the Butcher's body because she wanted to take a shower and didn't know where else to go considering the real Butcher is homeless, and everyone around town would recognize her as the serial killer on the loose. The Butcher then is forced to go to class as he is in the halls when she isn't supposed to be, and the teacher of her class starts being rude to him, and we can tell he has nefarious things in plan for this teacher. Millie finds Josh and Nyla walking around, and she tries getting them to stop so she can explain what is going on, but they think she is the Butcher on the loose, and they are running for their lives. She tells them that she is really Millie, and she can prove it to them. She answers every question they ask of her, and she even does their handshake, so they end up believing her. They are trying to figure out how this happened, and then Millie remembers the dagger that was found at the crime scene, so Josh researches about it, and finds out it is an ancient magical dagger that has powers out of this world, and if the swap isn't reversed back within 24 hours, the change will become permanent for the two souls that were swapped. They have 24 hours to get Millie and the Butcher's souls swapped, or it is bad news bears for Millie. The way for the swap to happen is Millie has to stab the Butcher with the dagger. After school later that day, the Butcher goes back into the classroom with the snotty teacher, and they start fighting with each other, and then the Butcher is able to stab the teacher in the neck with a screwdriver, and then he finishes her off by sawing his body in half with a table saw. After he leaves the room, he runs into Millie, Josh, and Nyla in the halls, and then screams for help knowing people will come help him over them. They are then chased by Millie's sister in a police car, and they stop to go in a department store to get away, and they stow away Millie in a dressing room. But then her mom comes up as she works there and has a heart-to-heart with Millie between the dressing room door talking about her ex-husband and Millie's father. But her mom thinks it is just a random man and even asks him if he would like to get dinner sometime, and Millie, not wanting to be mean, says yes, but we know that will never happen. The other two then bring Millie a mask to wear so no one will recognize her as the butcher. The three of them head to the arcade because they saw the butcher was there with the jocks playing air hockey on Instagram. Millie is able to find the butcher and he knocks her out along with Millie's crush, Booker, as he was in the room too, and tried escaping to tell the police about the butcher. They tie up the butcher and try to explain to Booker that their souls are swapped, and he is completely freaked out and tries leaving when Millie recites a poem that they shared with each other a few months ago, and he actually believes it is Millie now. They have 6 hours left and still have to get the dagger out of police custody to use for the ritual. Nyla, Millie, and Booker all head to the police station to try and get the dagger, and they left Josh at the house to make sure the butcher doesn't get loose. The plan is working fine until Josh's mom comes home and decides to untie the butcher that she believes is Millie, and then the butcher chases them around the house with a kitchen knife. While that is happening, Nyla is trying to sneak in the police station whenever Char notices her trying to steal the dagger, and she points her gun at her and tells her to drop the weapon. Nyla tries telling her what is going on, but Char is having none of it. The butcher then shows up to the police station and steals Char's car while Char is inside worried about the butcher, who is actually Millie, and it's all just a big mess. Char tries telling Millie to get in the jail cell, but she doesn't, and she tricks Char into getting in the jail cell, and then she locks her in there so they can go get the actual body swap completed. The butcher made his way back to the school dance and wants to see blood shed amongst all of the high school students. A few of the jocks try hooking up with Millie's body and they get into a huge fight, and the butcher takes care of them with a chainsaw. This was at least a respectable kill because these tools were so annoying. Millie then finds the butcher and they meet face to face, and Millie wants her body back, but the butcher has no plans in swapping. The butcher takes off running and everyone chases after him, and right before she is about to stab him, she thinks she is too late as her watch hits midnight. But then she remembers she set her watch back 5 minutes earlier after Booker recommended it, and then Millie stabs the butcher and they swap back to their original bodies. The cops then show up and shoot the butcher in his actual body this time. Next, we jump to the ambulance that is rushing the butcher to the hospital in hopes of saving his life. Why are they concerned with saving this dude's life after he has taken life from so many others? We then jump to Millie walking around her house, and she sees doors open everywhere, and Char isn't responding when she is asking where she is. As she is walking around, the butcher shows up behind her with a knife and holds it up to her throat, and then Char shows up ready to shoot him. But her gun had already been unloaded, so they all get into a physical altercation with him. They all whoop his butt, and Millie stabs him through the back, killing him for once and for all. And that is it for this one, friends. Any other movies or series I should do? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.